All right, y'all. So let's talk about this. As I sit here, let me turn the sound down some. Watching last night's Collision again, which was a banger of a show. But before I talk about our beloved AEW, let's have a little bit of fun too. Talking about certain things that happened at the Elimination Chamber. Like one, we know, top of the week, that building was like half empty. What does Michael Cole say last night though, right? I saw the highlights. And I sold out. Sold out. What? Man, we know y'all were out there handing tickets out, trying to fill that building up because nobody was paying. We saw that online. There was tickets that were not sold because nobody was paying that price. So even the tickets that they had half off and they had to slash prices, they couldn't sell anything from the top of the week. So all of a sudden now it's a sold out crowd, right? Either way, if it was AEW, that's what you guys would be saying. Oh, they was out there selling out tickets and handing out tickets. Yeah, right. This company can lie to you guys and you guys will eat up whatever they say. But let's just have, I'm not going to break down the show. I didn't watch the show. Like I told you, I just saw some highlights. And I can tell you, and what I saw is what I basically wanted to talk about. So I don't care about the show. Well, let's just get right to this. Rhea Ripley won the Elimination Chamber, which when you look at who was in the match with her, it only makes sense that she won. I don't see it necessary for Tiffany Stratton to have won. I don't see it for anybody else that would have won. And even with Rhea Ripley winning, Jade Cargill's title reign has been complete garbage. She needs to beat Rhea Ripley. If she loses, she was just a flash in the pan, just an excuse. Someone who went to WWE, signed a contract, and pretty much did much of nothing because that's how she was used. And right now, she has a very weak title reign. So, she needs to beat Rhea Ripley, case in point. Whatever happens, happens. But if they know what they're doing, even just a little bit, she needs to win. Okay. Randy Orton winning the men's Elimination Chamber match. Of course, Randy Orton fans are going to go, oh, yeah, great. But truth is, you know what? I don't even care about that match either. I don't care about any of that. But him winning it was just like, okay. Are they finally going to put Cody Rhodes on the back burner? I mean, Drew McIntyre, he has the belt, but there's nothing about Drew McIntyre other than him just being champion, just holding the belt. And he's always trying to get involved in something, and he always looks like a fool. Who cares? But once again, of course, LA Knight, he's just a guy that's just there. I guess he's accepted his role. I'm just here. I'll come out and holler, yeah, a million times and get the crowd to repeat it, but that's about the most I'm going to do. He's cooked. I really don't care about anything that happened, particularly in the WWE Elimination Chamber. This is one thing I want to talk about, man. You guys saw the thumbnail. Hey, WWE fans. Remember y'all said that Dan Hausen sucked when he was in AEW? Oh, I don't like that. Oh, what is his character? Yeah, just make anything to complain about Dan Hausen. Remember that? Remember when he added him to the game Fight Forever and, the fact that he can come to the ring, he can put you under the spell, and we were all enjoying that. And you guys just was bashing Dan Hausen. Remember that? Well, now he's in WWE. And I started laughing because when I saw the clip of the coffin and I see Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis go out there and crowbarred open in there like they're scared, so they walk away. And then all of a sudden, these vampire women jump out, and then Dan Hausen comes out to a lukewarm, you know, oh, this guy, right? He comes out, and I'm just sitting here looking, and I started laughing because I'm saying, what are they going to do with Danhausen? Are they going to put him in CMLL? Like, where does he even fit in? What is he going to team up with Iguana Man? Right? And you got goofballs in the comment sections like, oh, I could see this now. Truthhausen. Yo, this guy in Danhausen would be comedy at its finest. Truthhausen. I'm just sitting here like, yeah, see, go back a couple of months ago to where R-Truth was saying, we're going to do things my way. My way, remember? Yeah, he got all serious, shaved his head off. Remember, shaved all his hair off? Remember that? Just to grow his hair back and go back to the same clown goofball that he always was. And all you fools was defending R-Truth and running to bat for him. And I told y'all, I got to say this about him. All those years he's been here, you got to remember, he agreed to this stuff. He chose to agree to it. And he would disagree with you guys, saying that WWE is ruining him. Now, in his time of need, he wanted y'all to know that he was fired, and that wasn't no damn storyline. But he went right back to being an overgrown man-child, 54 fucking years old now, and this is what they do. And in your minds, you want to see him team up with Danhausen so they can just be comedy. See, again, another former AEW guy. Why does WWE continue to sign these so-called sucky former AEW guys? Why? Huh? Why? It's funny how they suck within AEW, but they come to WWE and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now what? Yeah, we got them, but now what? Not one person that left AEW came to WWE and did anything special. And all Cody Rhodes did was so-called finish his story. But what did he do other than hold the belt and come out and just talk? When you got a dude that was closing on like he was 300 something days as champion. And I remember then putting up the graph that this was his 9th title defense. 300 and something fucking days. And the man only fucking defended that belt 9 times. 9 times in a 300 something day span. So what did he actually do? See, you guys can have that slave ass mentality because they're in WWE, like they can do no wrong. Yeah, well, they had the music playing when Danhausen came out, so I couldn't tell if he was getting booed. I do know that when he faced the crowd and I can see I didn't see a bunch of you see the crowd, people just sitting there looking at him. And then I heard a few, but it was like I said, barely even a lukewarm reception for Danhausen. It's not, what gets me is this. The WWE don't think that characters like the Ultimate Warrior would work in this generation. And it's been a long time they felt that. They don't think, this is why they got away from all that. They don't think a new Undertaker would work. They don't think a new Cactus Jack would work. They don't think a new Kane would work. Somehow, they think vampires and zombies is entertaining. Because remember, at that pay-per-view, Damian Priest versus The Miz, and they had the zombies come out. Oh, but they was promoting Batista's movie. Right, movie. Stupid, we know that. Shut up. Remember, they supposed to had eaten The Miz and Damian Priest alive in the ring bullshit. And even the stupid commentary, they're eating them alive. Yeah, I know. They didn't attack the camera people. They didn't attack the commentators. Nobody else, the referee. We know that. Come on, we know, okay? No different from the tag team that JCW has, okay? The zombies. I like those guys. You understand what I'm saying? I know they're not really zombies. We know that wrestling is a show. My point is, though, how do you think Danhausen would work? How do you think zombie teams would work, or zombies and vampires? How do you think? I mean, they had Gangrel at one point. He was supposed to be a vampire, right? But I'm saying, how do you think that would work? But you don't think that people that I just named would work? And of course, Dan Hausen is a silly character. He always was a silly character. Okay? I didn't have a problem with Dan Hausen, and I don't have a problem with Dan Hausen. My thing is, it's funny how just because he came to WWE, all of a sudden now, he's great. He didn't do shit but walk out to the fucking ring. But Dan Hausen is great. And mind you, I saw a highlight of it. A highlight of that segment. So, I know that the reception he got, like I said, they barely made any noise for him. Funny thing, though. You guys are such hypocrites, man. Because it's not just the fact that it's Dan Hausen that was in AEW, but his character of who he is, his look. Right? You guys was clowning him. But now he's in WWE. And here's what I find really funny. So if Tony Khan is making so many mistakes and he don't know what he's doing and he's signing the wrong people, why the fuck do WWE keep signing all these released people? If they're no fucking help to AEW, they don't matter. They're irrelevant. And why the fuck would they matter in WWE? Man, you guys are such hypocrites, man. You know, I saw comments. I can see R-Truth now. You not fooling me, Oscar? Hey, look, y'all, it's Sting. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, I could see them doing some goofy shit like that. And only goofballs find that shit funny. This is exactly my point. Yeah, we can't tell Oscar from Dan Hausen. Oh, we can't tell Sting from Dan Hausen. Yeah, real funny. Real typical corny cornball bullshit. But this is what WWE fans like. They just don't like when AEW does something before them or has something that they don't have, and then all of a sudden, now, yeah, we get Dan Hausen. Good. Great. Now put him in your video game and all that good shit too. Who cares? You know, who cares? Do it. Becky Lynch losing to AJ Lee. Becky Lynch may be getting ready to enter that Bayley stage in her career, where she's just there putting people over, because her losing to Maxine Dupree 3 times, losing that bullshit belt that she had just to win it back. She's always paranoid when somebody challenges her, and now she loses to AJ Lee. And typical WWE style, you better believe AJ Lee's not going to show up for work every Monday and wrestle. She will show up when she shows up with her belt on her shoulder and talk like the rest of them. Only she won't come dressed like she's dressed for church. She'll come dressed like a 12-year-old girl. But that's pretty much what they're going to do with AJ Lee. You guys know that. She's not going to wrestle often. Now, this is all I want to say about, worst wrestling entertainment. Now, I'm going to move on to AEW. Great show last night in front of another real sold-out crowd, not made up lies and make-believe like WWE. But the Don Callis family versus, the Death Riders. I like this feud. And this is what I feel like you're supposed to do when you have stables. What's the purpose of having all these people if nothing's going to happen with other stables, So they're going back and forth. And last night, another solid match. And you got to get all your guys involved. So pretty much, yeah, we saw some good stuff last night. Moxley, whenever Mox turns up on Collision, if he doesn't wrestle, he usually sits with the announce team while, whatever Death Riders in the ring wrestling. I like that. I know he's observing what's going on too, and they all observe, give their input about okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's keep the ideas fresh, and it just keeps the wheels turning. So I like that. I understand what he's doing with that too. Um, the Death Riders, Willa Yuta finally got his little almost bald head exposed. Of course, people are gonna laugh at his little onion head, man, and that's what happens when you have a hair versus hair match. Of course, people want to make fun of it. And in AEW, they always calling someone bald head, and basically this became a more popular chant due to Ricochet's bald head and everybody making fun of him being bald. But it was a solid match, a fun match. On top of that, I love the fact that Kevin Knight is getting some shine. And you go back to Swerve Strickland telling him that he's the future. Just don't wait 5 years. I loved when Swerve said that. Let me tell you why. It's all part of storyline, and it's all a statement to get you to think, to pay attention to that, because this is how the business has always been. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of wrestlers fail. Because when you come out and the fans are going nuts for you, so many wrestling companies, including the WWE, has done this, where all of a sudden you go on this incredible losing streak. And then the fans just stop believing in you. And how do they always bring you back 10 times out of 10? They bring you back by turning you heel. And that doesn't always work. It just gets to the point where some people were out there welcome. Some people, it just meant more to be a heel, and some people, it just meant more to be a face. Some people can do both. Some are just better at being a heel. Some are just better at being face. Now, can you, it's a job. Can you transition? Everybody should try to work to have the ability to have no real weaknesses, because your style is your style, what you do, how you talk, everything. But they always did that. I remember Hulk Hogan talking about it takes you about 10 years to build a character. And I'm just like, man, 10 fucking years, the fuck out of here, man. But that's the way the business was ran. And the guys who were on the forefront stayed on the forefront, but they kept the guys on the come up down. See, and if you didn't understand how we all can be on the same level, no, back then, if you notice, every company had a top 3 good guys, top 3 bad guys. And so basically, it was always the type of thing where, just say, for example, when the British Bulldog finally beat Bret Hart, you thought sky's was the limit. He's going to be world champion one day. No, that's just the biggest accomplishment that he had in his wrestling career, was beating Bret Hart. Well, I would say being tag team champion, but the notoriety as far as a singles wrestler, that was just and being Intercontinental champion, but beating Bret Hart. Never became world champion. He went to WCW. I don't know what went wrong there. I know him and Sting teamed up a couple of times. I remember him and Sting going against Vader and Sid Vicious, and they had some fun matches and stuff. It was things that was going on. It was things that was going on in WCW at the time. With him, where he just disappeared all of a sudden. I remember he showed back up in WWE. He had slimmed down, some had the short hair. He used to come out the blue jeans on the boots. I don't know what that look was about, but he never evolved after that. Kurt Hennig, you thought was for sure going to be world champion. Nope. Lost to Bret Hart twice. And the Continental champion, that's it. Never evolved. The WWE had a way of just telling you how great and how outstanding they were, even though they couldn't beat certain people. Razor Ramon, same thing, man. Beat Shawn Michaels in the ladder match, right? Never became world champion. His better days to me, honestly, when he was Scott Gator Hall in AWA, I used to watch him, but his best work to me was what he did with NWO. But yeah, a lot of wrestlers, they go through that with the character build, and then it's like, if you're not going to be put in the main scene, then what's the purpose? You know what I mean? So you have to put people in the positions to it. Once they get elevated, you got to make sure that they're a certified star before they get to the point where they're going back and forth with the wins and losses. You got to keep them in position to where people want to see them and they believe in them. That's the thing about wrestling. The character has to have believability to them. The fans have to believe in that character for them to really blossom like they could. So Kevin Knight, do I think he's going to beat MJF next week? No. No, he's not going to beat him. If he beats him, it'll be like DQ or something like that. But or whether Max get himself disqualified or somebody interferes or whatever, I don't know. But he's not going to beat him, but he's going to shine. He's going to give Max a run for his money, and he's going to show people once again what he can do. That's one of the things that I love that they're doing, because even though they're trios champions, right? They defend the belts, but they also are building Kevin Knight at the same time. Speedball Mike Bailey. He's had his share of singles matches. And of course, Hangman Adam Page. He pretty much is, former world champion. He's already established. And so yeah, man, it's great to see them pushing Kevin Knight like that. I always liked Kevin Knight. I remember when Kevin Knight was in TNA. I remember when he was in New Japan. Like, I've seen the guy in the independents, so I knew who Kevin Knight was before he came to AEW. But yeah, man, I mean, we look at everything that's going on in AEW, man. It's just so much to be like to just get into, man. I tell you what, too. The timing, I feel, is good, and yeah, they're showing you like that's his thing. I'm not just the future. I'm the here and now, and yeah, it shouldn't take 5 years. It shouldn't take 10 years. No, at that point, like I said, people come and go. You're not building superstars. You're not building stars at all if the guys will keep losing like that. So, we'll see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to the match, but no, I don't expect him to pin MJF. He's not winning the title, but I think it should be a great match. Hey, I love the Brawling Birds. I told you guys, man. I love them as a tag team, man, and I think that what's funny, that I remember before they were a tag team, when it was a while ago when people were saying, yeah, man, they were talking about when Becky Lynch had disappeared from WWE for a while, and people were starting to say they think she was going to leave WWE. And I remember when people was asking me about Becky Lynch, I said, about her coming to AEW. I'm like, what's going to happen is going to happen. I said, if she does, she does. But if she doesn't, what I looked at, and this is what I always said, and I'm saying it now. I don't think bringing Becky Lynch in would have done a whole lot. And I'm telling you, I look at Jamie Hayter. She's bigger and she's stronger than Becky Lynch, and she can wrestle. You understand what I'm saying? She's on that level. She's Becky, Jamie Hayter. She's nice in that ring. They kind of remind me of each other. Redheads, they just kind of, Jamie Hayter, like I said, big and strong and can wrestle, whereas Becky is a smaller. She can wrestle, but she's smaller, more about, relying on quickness and movement, where Jamie Hayter has all of that shit. So I'm not one of these people that falls behind the so-called prestige of, being in WWE. I don't care about that. I like Jamie Hayter better than I do Becky Lynch anyway. And I've always said, we already got a redhead Australian, man. We don't need Becky Lynch. This is the thing, what I'm saying. I don't see, it's like, nah. Because then to me, it just feels like not that they can't use her, but they're around the same age. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're too similar. You know what I mean? Like, let's not. We already got Jamie Hayter, man. But yeah, her, and Alex Windsor teaming up, man. This was great. I love that. Obvious. There's no which, by the way, the Death Riders won that match last night. For those who don't know, but they beat the Don Callis family. But and Takeshita came out to get involved, to jump in. I like how Marina Shafir, man. She you know how the role that Chyna played with DX, man. Marina Shafir is that chick over here, where she will get involved. She will physically, jump in. Now, of course, she's not as strong as the men and shouldn't be that dominating them. No. But, like, she will, get in the ring and get involved. And I just like the fact that, I don't like the men versus women matches in real life so much. I prefer. See, there's a way to do it. Put it like that. There's a way to do it, and this is why I like with mixed tag matches when they're done right, where some, because just to have a female there dominating the guy, it just, especially they're so much smaller and weaker, it just looks so stupid, man. So this is why when it's done right, you can, all right, that was a good match, that was cool, like the stuff you see with Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm and how their matches will go, even when Willow's involved, where the moves don't look like. The moves don't look so telegraphed, right? Like you can see them jumping so they can get them and all. Like they're able to like carry their weight and do things to where everything flows. And it's not just a female there stomping and beating the fuck out of a guy. It's the type of thing when they catch a guy in a vulnerable position and they'll come in, hit a German on him or something, or body slam or some, something where they're able to actually do it without having to have so much assistance and helping. That's what I'm saying. But all that just coming there stomping the fucking guy out and all that. And you're all of 140 fucking pounds or whatever. Like, stop it. But, anyways, we also know that Marina Shafir and Tony Storm, they're not done. They still have bad blood, which I'm glad because there was never any closure between the two of them. So I'm glad that feud is not over. Another thing that I think is better that AEW is doing is bringing Alina Cross, separating Megan Bayne from Marina Shafir. My thing with that was this. Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir together would be a very tough tag team, okay? But unless they're going to be a trio, like, where does that leave Penelope Ford, right? And this is why, like, when you bring somebody into the group, I feel it's better. Now, my thing was, unless Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne was going to become Death Riders, right? Now what happens is this. Not that it couldn't work, and it was working. What they was doing was they were doing good work together, but what you're doing is this, because Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne are two of the strongest women there as well. And then you got Penelope Ford in the phrase, like, just think about it. Willie Yuta, John Moxley, everybody else, Pac, Daniel Garcia, like everybody that they have. It's like, it's so many people. Claudio Castagnoli. Now it's the type of thing where, excuse me, you got to write things differently to where now it's going to be more of a team thing, because there's too many of them that just keep giving all them one-on-one. So it's more of a team thing. But how does this impact the women's division? This is what I'm saying. To have these three women all as Death Riders. So even to have them separate, it's like we saw the match where they were all, where Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne was involved. It was a four-way, but they end up, for Willow Nightingale's TBS championship. And so, I forgot who the other, Mina Shirakawa was the other person. And you see that a beef broke out between Marina and Megan. So that was like the end of, all right, fuck it, out of here, separate ways. Lena Cross coming in. I just think that's a better idea overall. So it served its purpose for the time that it was working, that they were doing it. But I think this is a much better situation. And plus, Penelope Ford isn't being left out because she's no sidekick or anything. It's just that for her to be there, she it's just like having Tekla, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Anytime you have a trio. Now, I don't know what's going on as far as Chris Statlander. She teamed up with Thunder Rosa last night. Now, I don't know if this was just a one and done or like what are they doing, because it's like she reunited with Willow, and it seemed like Willow, Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander were going to be a trio, like have each other's backs in that way. And my thing is, it's too much if she is doing that, but at the same time she's teaming up with Thunder Rosa here and this. I don't know if they're gonna make them a tag team, and now they're starting to pull more people to where, like, even every group, everybody's not going to be a singles champion at the same time, for one, okay? You have the women's championship and you have the TBS championship. So having the tag team champions crown, that's one thing. Now, when you look at how they're scrambling people around, who's still going to be, and even when you're part of a team, you're still going to, have singles matches. So who's going to be the target that they're pushing that's going to be the one that's going to have feuds with Tekla, end up taking the title away from Tekla? I don't know. I think, honestly, that Megan Bain, like I said before, I think she and Penelope Ford are going to, and I would love to see Lena Cross, and I think Lena Cross and Megan is more powerful together than either one of them with Penelope. Like she would be like the weak link of the team. But I just feel like Penelope Ford deserves those tag belts with Megan Bain, and that's the team I want to see. Like if anybody takes the belts off of them, I hope that it is Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. Now, there's plenty of people that the Brawling Birds could beef with before they even get to the point to have a tag team title shot against Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. So, I mean, there's so much going on, man. I love what's going on in AEW. Nothing feels stale. You're not seeing just the same old matches week after week after week after week all year and a half, 2 years. I mean, and that's something I love. Tommaso Ciampa, he came out against Jay Lethal. What I love too about this, man, these are a whole lot of old Ring of Honor beefs. And then to see them relive it, man, it's like, in 2026, man, these guys are here. It's just a great thing to me, man, because, and that's the one thing that I know Tony Khan had in mind when he purchased Ring of Honor, was because a lot of the talent that he already had wrestling in AEW was also former Ring of Honor wrestlers. So now, I'm pretty sure he had that mindset before he did it. Anytime someone does business their way and not copy a WWE blueprint, they don't know what they're doing, right? But anyways, yeah, Tommaso got the win, and it was a good, solid match with him and Jay Lethal. But yeah, that whole dynamic with the women's, everybody's being moved up. Gabe Kidd. As you can see, he's not coming out with the Death Riders. Him, and I forget his partner's name. Got the long, they're teaming up. So there's a lot of moving pieces right now where new teams have been formed, and I like that, man. I love that. So I think that going forward, Brody King and Bandito, who's gonna basically fight what's his name? Andre Idolo, he's going to fight him at Revolution. As last night you saw when he came out at the end, he came to shake his hand, he spit at him and shit. Andre spit at him, but Bandito starts pointing at the Revolution sign. Andrade starts pointing at it. So pretty much their match is going to be for that night. That's a match I want to see for sure. But yeah, man, it was. Listen. AEW is doing what AEW is supposed to do. So while you guys were bitching about the Elimination Chamber, I was chilling watching Collision. Yeah, I was watching Collision. I give a damn. And what I did do, though, while I was watching Collision on my TV, I was watching CCW on my phone. And I noticed something last night too. Fourth Rope Wrestling. If you haven't watched it, and they finally changed that ring. I didn't have a problem with the ring. The ring was all black at one point. It's all black, and I think it had red ropes, something like that. Everything all black. Now they got all black corner posts, white ropes, yellow turnbuckles, a red floor, red mat, bluish grayish type ring apron that has Fourth Rope Wrestling on it, and that was on, and I was watching it. Now I don't know if it was a replay But when I watched it, guess who I saw in a four-way? Nikki Blackheart. She was looking powerful. She was moving faster. I said, oh, okay. Like, I can see, I'm telling you, Nikki Blackheart is a gem, man. I saw her. It's like, yeah, okay. Nikki Blackheart's looking solid, man. And listen, MVP is the commissioner over there. And I don't know what his status is with AEW. I haven't heard anything about him no longer being under contract. I know, as far as renewing contracts or whatever's going on, I don't know what's happening. But if he gets in touch with Tony Khan about Nikki Blackheart or vice versa, whatever, I'm just saying. First of all, they don't have to get in touch with each other. What I'm saying, if he is a guy that says, hey, listen, man, you know how he feels about WWE Triple H. So advising somebody to go to a company that you have a problem with the guy that's running the show, that would be absurd. So I'm saying, if it's one of these things where MVP is like, hey, Nikki, listen, you ready for the big time? I think you should go to AEW. Hey, I'm going to call Tony Khan, or we can. Yeah, Nikki Blackheart is solid, man. I like watching her. She didn't win. She didn't get pinned either. Somebody else got pinned. I forgot who. I forget the chick name. Former WWE wrestler as well. There was a couple of people in there. I recognize everybody that was in the ring, but one of them used to be in WWE / TNA. I don't know if she's still in TNA or whatever, but she basically, the chick that won, bottom line is this: Nikki Blackheart was in the match and she looked good. That's pretty much all I wanted to get at with that. And I think I'll have to go back and watch it, the whole thing again, because I was watching Collision, and I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back and I'll look at this whole thing when I get a chance. But after Collision went off, I watched the Nikki Blackheart match, which was a 4-way women's match. And Nikki is solid, but we'll see what happens. And listen, I think people overlook this. Variety is great, and variety should not be copycatted. And in all honesty, if you have a company being ran by a bunch of money-hungry scumbag liars that you don't even have to reach for it. You're not hearing rumors. You're hearing the truth. And these people are saying things disrespectful to their paying customers. And you guys got choices to make. I don't see why it's a hard choice. But until you smarten up and make the right choices, that's on you. If you go back right now and just look at 2026 alone, not even 2025, just look at 2026 alone already. Look at how many dozens of videos from everybody. AEW is on fire. AEW is cooking. AEW, amazing show. AEW, company of the year. AEW, wrestlers, this wrestler was that. Wrestler of the year, this, that. Match of the year. Pay-per-view of the year. And you look at WWE, and all you're basically seeing is Raw is cooked. SmackDown is cooked. Mania season is cooked. This is complete trash. This is garbage. This is awful. And you're like, God damn, how many times are you guys going to say the same things, right? They keep making these same videos. They just don't understand it. The WWE, as you knew it, is not the same WWE. So you can wish, hope, pray, you can do all of that. It is what it is. And the fact that they're showing you, they can care less about how you feel. It just behooves me how you guys continue to show support to this company. So, but it's on you. I always say the same thing, man. If I went to a restaurant and they gave me bad service, I'm never going back there again. I need to eat. I don't need to, particularly watch wrestling. I need to eat. But I don't have to go to this one particular restaurant. If somebody's known to just, do bad business, do disrespectful things, I don't understand how you guys, you keep making the same stupid claims every fucking week. And especially for the people that like to yell and scream on their videos. Like, you're doing all this yelling for what? Now, you're doing all this screaming and yelling just to end up ordering ESPN Plus, watching this bullshit. You're doing all this yelling and screaming just to watch Raw or SmackDown when it comes on. You're doing all this yelling and screaming to not only watch it, but have a watch along. So you and all these miserable people on your channel is going to sit there, team up, just to complain about everything you're watching. So, yeah. Tony Khan, you keep getting these sucky wrestlers, but somehow when they go to WWE, they no longer suck, even though they suck. It is what it is, man. You guys are really crazy. Like seriously. Oh yeah, and not to mention the inspiration also showed up in AEW last night. So, and that's something else that I was thinking about when I saw the Brawling Birds. You know, because I think the Brawling Birds is going to be one of those top teams, definitely, and they're both there, and their faces on top of that. So I can really see things heating up with the women. And you know, one of the things that I do know as well is people that have been watching pro wrestling for a long time, the fact that for someone that can say, I saw Sting in NWA, WCW, WWE, AEW, you've been watching Sting for a very long time. So when he hangs it up, it's like, okay, another one of the people that we enjoy watching gone. However long you've been watching AJ Styles or John Cena or, you know, anybody from whatever era, what I'm saying is when they were in their primes, if you were there part of it, even if you were a kid, whatever it was at the time, however, you saw it. So you watch different generations of wrestling come in. Right now, we're watching a change happen in wrestling, period. But I'm sitting here looking at AEW 7-year history, and I'm looking at all these new faces. It's just like they've changed the game. Wrestling companies no longer have to wait and depend on former WWE talent to boost their company. Now, yeah, of course, there's people that can be released that will come to certain companies and will give them some more notoriety, depending on who they are. Because that superstar era is over with. It's done. That whole, oh, you got this guy, he's good, but these guys got Cena and Undertaker and all that. Nah, it's done. That's done. They no longer have that advantage. See, and it's all about what you produce. It's how you put your shows together, who you choose to have on your roster. That's what it comes down to. You know, so what you've been used to, you start to see a change. You start to see things happening different. So my whole thing with that is, okay, cool. This is different. This isn't the same. Now, you can sit and cross your fingers and want things to go back to the way they used to be, or you can understand that with certain companies, there'll be certain elements that they do bring back from the old days. But for the most part, things are going to always be different because times change, because people change. And people seem to just not be attached to reality when it comes to those aspects. You know, so it is what it is. And especially for a WWE fan. Why? Because WWE has been around a lot longer than AEW. AEW is only 7 years old. So instead of you guys appreciating the fact that they have their own blueprint, you think they're supposed to do what WWE is doing. They think every company's supposed to. Look, let me show you guys something. If you look at TNA, for example, which is 20-something years old, 20-something year old company, these guys pulled 2 million views one on episode or however many times they were able to do. I don't remember. I remember one particular time they said, Dixie Carter thanked people that the TNA fans because they reach 2 million views. Okay. I always said that people made too big a deal about views. And now it becomes a thing. Now everybody want to talk about what the viewership was, right? A company that once did 2 million, who is now doing 200,000, 200 something thousand. Let's look at what happened. They went for what? The first show was what? 173,000. Following week, 171,000. They had to jump up to, I think, was it 240,000? Then the following week, it dropped down to like 230,000. You understand what I'm saying? And bringing people back like Mickey James and, listen, when I looked at the show, right, the very last TNA show that they just had this past Thursday, I just sat there and I looked and I watched it by segments. I didn't sit and watch the entire show through. I just watched it by segments. And I'm sitting there watching. In a lot of ways, and we know this, they have the same problem as AEW, WWE is. Their creative is lazy. It's like they don't try to do anything that really stands out. They're just following the same lame format. And when I look at that, and I think about people like Eric Bischoff talking about how they'll easily become a strong number 2 and all that. Listen. Here's a company, 20-something years old, meaning they had a huge head start over AEW. MLW, huge head start over AEW. All these other companies. But none of them are in the same position as AEW. So basically what happens is the underdog company that comes in that has a huge bank backing, has a machine behind it as well, and basically have the mindset to put on better shows. They have wrestlers that, they take pride in wrestling. It's always, if you think about it, it's the same thing. When NWA was there, like I said, it was a different mindset from people back in the day than now with wrestling, but it definitely was the element where people was expecting WWE, to be the best company. Because why? If I turn on the TV and I see wrestling superstars, if I see Madison Square Garden, WWE, and WWF at the time, if I see Saturday night's main event, right? Well, what the other companies got? Okay. They have a Clash of Champions in WCW. Okay, they have Super Brawl. They have, Halloween Havoc. So all these different things, but it was always a comparison. There was always a comparison. There was always people, especially these writers in these magazines, these wrestling magazines, always a comparison about what companies sold out, what building, and how many people came to this show. It was always, I said, this, way before we started this internet shit, I said, this hurts wrestling, because everybody that was dependent on news was buying those magazines. I don't know how many people worldwide was buying them, but when those magazines went away, I felt like great. It was bittersweet, because as a kid, we bought them all the time. As I got older, it's lost, But at the same time, it's like, instead of people supporting the genre of wrestling, it's a pick and choose, seek and destroy mission. Oh, there can only be one, and it's like people within wrestling are the biggest problems with wrestling. So that all being said, y'all, I'm looking at right now everything that's happening. I'm having fun watching AEW. It's like I said, it's you WWE fans. In all honesty, I'm going to tell you what you WWE fans are like. It's like you have cancer. And right there, all you got to do is reach out your hand. This is the cure for cancer right here. This right here. You grab this, you take this. Take it. This will cure your cancer. Somehow you guys just won't grab it. You'll just sit there and look at it, but you won't. And then you'll die of cancer. But everybody else that's alive that see you, everybody else that had your same situation, they reached out and took it, and they cured their cancer. And they know you died because of your own stupidity. That's what you guys remind me of, man. You complain and complain, but you will not give AEW the credit that they deserve. No, it's not what I'm used to. No, okay, cool, no problem. Then you continue to tune in to WWE and complain. and lose hairs and stress yourselves out, because that's all you talk about is how stressed you are, how aggravated you are, how you punched a hole in your TV, how you screamed and yelled, your neighbor came out and asked, "Are you okay?" Because you guys are immature. Like, they're forcing us, they're making us, man. Nobody make me do any goddamn thing. Tony Khan don't force me to do shit. I'm not addicted. I enjoy. But here's the thing. Let's say, for example, if my son said, "Hey, Pop, you want to go bowling or something? You want to go play some pool?" All right, cool. You know what I'm not going to do? Oh, nah, son. AEW's coming up. I'll watch AEW later. You understand? That's just me. I don't care what's on TV. My love for my family comes before anything else. You guys honestly talk like your life consists of nothing but blazing WWE, praising. I could picture you guys all sitting down with fucking white robes on, doing this when WWE comes on, and, you know, oh, bless. Like, what are you guys, pledging some fucking allegiance to this company, man? I see those stupid comments. I pledge allegiance to the WWE. Like, wow. Y'all a bunch of cucks. I want y'all to know that about yourself. If you a single one of y'all that say that are the type of motherfuckers that will sit up and watch a dude screw your wife in front of your face and she suck him off, and then hey, come here, suck this off. I'm like, yeah, that's what you guys are. You can't be a fucking man sitting there. I don't even respect them. I would slap the shit out you if you stood in front of my fucking face in person and told me I pledge allegiance to God. I would slap the shit out you. Just for fucking being stupid. Yeah. Pledge allegiance to the slap, bitch. I pledge allegiance to the... I mean, you guys are just like goofballs, man. What do you expect out of a goofy? I don't pledge no fucking allegiance to nothing. It is what it is. But this is fun to watch. So I'm not sitting up here making videos every week. Man, fucking AEW pissing me off. No, why would it piss me off? If something is no longer interesting, then it's just no longer interesting. But I'd be damned if I'm going to sit up here and take the time every single week bitching about the same thing. So here's what happens. This is not a wrestling channel. It's games and entertainment, because that's what I wanted to do initially. And there's different forms of entertainment. There's different things that I can look at and talk about. And that's exactly why I changed it from Nintendo and Xbox and Nintendo Force, because I didn't want to limit myself to where I'm talking about certain things that you wouldn't expect from a channel called Xbox and Nintendo Force. And there was a couple other reasons. But yeah, so what I'm saying is, if I don't enjoy something, no, I'm not going to sit here every single week and just keep... And the thing is, I don't make rant videos. You guys are ranting. I'm just telling you what's going on. And I'm laughing and making fun of this shit. But I'm also showing you, hey, y'all know what this is called? It's called a fucking remote control. And all you have to simply do is go, I don't want to watch this. Click. You'll be amazed at how good this works. The signal, everything is beautiful. No lag, it just writes away. The second you tap the button, boop, it changes. So instead of stressing yourself out, watch something that's worth watching. But like I always say, when it comes to pro wrestling, you know, I'm not picky to the point of where I'm sitting up here, I can't enjoy anything because it doesn't have this or that. No, I understand everything is different. And independent wrestling, you're not going to get the same camera quality. You're not going to get, you know, the same type of like effort with the storylines and all that. If you watch most indie shows, there's no real storyline. It's just people wrestling. They'll come out and insult the crowd and talk and do their little heel stuff or whatever, but like, there's no real storylines to follow. So it's different. People look at the indies like it's scouting. I look at it like, no, I just want to enjoy the show. Now, you like what you like. But I just don't understand how people have made up in their mind that they don't like a company, not because it's not good. It's just because it's the competition. That's all it is. It's just because it's the competition. And to make matters worse is you guys know. You truly know AEW was way better than WWE. You know, this book right here, this letter, I've had this for a long time. Willie Lynch. Huh? The Willie Lynch letter. Making of a Slave. You read the process of what this piece of shit guy did to try to help the other slave owners keep their slaves in captive and how to mind control. And you'll find a lot of the tactics that he used in that book still applies and hurts people to this day. Oh, it affects black people to this day. And people that were slave owners, a lot of people, they see the mindset, they're dictators. Everything is about mind control. People use those tactics not just for slavery, but for mind control. So I am your conscience. I think for you. I know what's best for you. What I say goes. I know what you need better than you do. You ever heard that book, 48 Laws of Power? You know what the number one law is? Never outshine the master, right? And that's not just as business partners. That's in general. You don't have the right to tell me what the fuck to do. What do you think Triple H means when he insults you guys and tell you, I thought the boos would be a lot louder. I'm disappointed in you guys. Huh? What do you think Vince Russo means when he says, you know what, I'm going to make decisions that you're not going to like. And you know what? Tough shit. Yeah, you're not going to tell me what to write and how to write it. And you're right. Now, I agree to an extent. They have a job to do, and you guys take this shit way too personal, too serious. You don't even know how to enjoy anything because you're so busy wanting to judge it. It's just fucking entertainment. That's it. But the problem is, even when they give a sucky ass show, they don't give a fuck that the next one sucks even more, the next one, that they're using the wrong formula. But when people talk shit about AEW, do you ever hear WWE go, hey, listen, don't bash AEW. They're part of the wrestling family. Watch their show and enjoy it. There's room for all of us to eat. No, they don't. They just don't like when you talk shit about them. So, yeah. Y'all got another sucky AEW wrestler, Dan Hausen. Yeah. Yeah, they suck so much, but boy, your WWE, they love fucking trying to get who they can from AEW. Everybody. Just look on WWE's roster and look at how many of these motherfuckers come from the AEW. You'll go, damn. But on the other hand, Tony Khan is out here doing his thing, man. And it's not about, let's depend on released WWE talent. No, he's out here getting who he needs to get to make the roster even stronger, to shake things up, to make things interesting, to keep it fresh. He's out here doing it, man. That's what happens, and this is what you're supposed to do. Things move a lot quicker now than they used to, and this is what people need to understand. This is how you keep shit going. This is his way of doing it, for sure. But all WWE is doing is signing release AEW talent. These are facts. Look at their roster. Tony's out here like, nah, we're not reducing ourselves to that. Yeah, so while you guys are out here crying and complaining about Elimination Chamber, right now ahead of time, you know WrestleMania is going to suck, but you're going to watch it anyway. You're going to tune in, bitch, and complain, give yourselves headaches, sit up here taking Advils and no fucking leaves all fucking night long because, oh, this show sucks. And I know tomorrow on Sunday is going to suck too, but you're going to tune in and watch like the bitches you are. Simple. AEW is king. Keep doing y'all thing. We ain't worried about WWE. We're not worried about what these motherfuckers are doing. But I do have fun ridiculing their asses because I watched this company bully, lie, deceive, backstab, and do all this kind of shit for years. And all I see are you slaves bowing to them and acting like they just have the rite of passage. But you take a company who has an owner and people that want to do the best thing for its wrestlers, for its fans, and give a damn about this genre called pro wrestling, and you hate it. You guys are fucking idiots. Every single one of you that talk like that and think like that are fucking buffoons. And I have zero respect for any of you. You guys, if you had your way, you would have slaves. You would support slavery. Because you're scumbags. And this is why you have a problem with a company who does the exact opposite. You won't salute Black History Month, but you try to make a mockery by happy Black History Month, Cody Raheem Rhodes. Y'all don't see the fucking mockery, right? Yeah. A slave master wouldn't. A racist wouldn't. A stupid person wouldn't. And if you're racist, you know, you're stupid. You're a scumbag. You're a piece of shit. Yeah. Newsflash, WWE have actual black wrestlers that you can push better. Instead of trying to take a white one and pretend, to insult our intelligence with this Cody Raheem Road shit. This is what I'm saying. But you idiots sit up here and support this nonsense. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I said what I said.